next question is towards you. What advice would you give to the current generation of interactors who are passionate about making a change?
I must say, firstly, one of the reasons I like that question a lot is because it ends with passionate about making a change. And especially as interactors, the one thing I want to tell you is if any one of you in this audience today, or anyone wherever around the country, if you have a deeply rooted passion about making a change, Interact is the right place to do that. Unfortunately, I think over the course of the years, over the course of the decades, the idea of being an interactor has been perverted. I do believe that with different goals, different intentions of various modes, which is a very normal thing to happen in any organization, the idea of service has sort of become blurred. But what we must understand and what we must acknowledge is that service is the ultimate fundamental that the movement was created upon. How the movement started, all the way back when Rotary started, it was basically a project where they made a toilet, a public toilet for the people in Chicago. And it was that first act of service that ultimately birthed this idea of service above self. And I think as long as we have that deeply rooted passion to create change, there's no better place to do it than in Interact. Because just the idea that the fundamental of the movement is service is enough and more leeway to go about creating the change that you want to see in the world. I think in addition to that, especially as young people, we live in very confusing times. I do have to agree a lot with what Mr. Carrera said before as well, because we're living in a very like-driven, a very matrixified sort of generation where we've become numb followers of things that people tell us to do or things that happen around us. There's no consciousness as youth. And there's this very famous quote by this individual that goes about saying that the moment you kill the passions of a young people is when that country is doomed, which means to say that the future of the country and the future of the world is only in the hands of young people. And I think the idea of empowering that seed to sort of create change and create an impact on the world happens in Interact. And I think as long as you focus on breeding that seed, of nurturing that plant and letting it grow into become people in the world that will be very concerned about justice, very concerned about creating change, very concerned about serving selflessly, it is only then that we can live in a world that we call worthy of living.
I believe that passion is what drives us to be interactors and keeps us going every day in this movement. Moving back to you.